Hello, Cartersville Uncut. My name is Jeremy Morton. I'm from First Baptist Church, Cartersville, and today I'm privileged to have one of our church members, but also a personal friend who happens to be the head football coach at Cartersville High School, Coach Joey King. And we were literally on the practice field just a few moments ago, but this big thunderstorm has run us indoors, and so you won't be able to see Joey's team or them practice today, but we are privileged to hear from him today. So Joey, tell us a little bit about yourself, tell us about your family, and how you came to Cartersville a few years ago.
Originally from Cedartown, Georgia, not too far from here. I started my coaching career at Jacksonville State University after graduating from Cartersville College, playing for the legendary Coach Ken Sparks. Decided to get into high school teaching and coaching in 2007, I believe, at Sonoraville High School. From there, I spent 6 years at Carrollton, the last 4 of which was the offensive coordinator. We were fortunate enough in that 4-year span to play for 2 state championships. And then when this job came open, I made it hard for them to tell me no. So we're definitely blessed to be here. My family loves this community. I'm married. I have 3 children. My wife is Ashley. She's wonderful. My 3 children are Jay, Ty, and Jesse. Jay will be 9 soon. He's 8 right now. Ty is 6, and Jesse is 2, and she runs the whole house.
She's an amazing lady. She surely is. Joey, who are some of the biggest influences on your life when you were growing up in Cedartown?
Oh, man, my mom, first and foremost. I grew up in a single-parent household. My mom's kind of been the rock of my family, and she was both a hard hand and a soft shoulder. My grandparents were wonderful. My grandfather was the only dad that I known, Austin Joe Kines Sr. Those were probably the 2 biggest influences on me. Then Tony Lundy was one of my high school coaches, kind of took me under his wing when I was young and kept me around the game, so that gave me something to do.
Sure. You're very vocal about your faith, Joey, and you love Jesus with all your heart, and you don't put it out there in an inappropriate. I've never seen you pressure a kid to be a part of the devotional. It's all optional. You handle yourself with such professionalism, but talk just from your heart about your faith and how important it is to you.
That's what it's all about. That's the big picture. Coach Sparks that I play for, I always talked about having an eternal perspective in everything that you do, and he talked about the scoreboard in your heart over the scoreboard at the end of the field, and that's the stuff that matters.
Sure.
We a lot of times, and regardless of your field, you focus on things that don't matter and feel like you're chasing your tail at times, but it's always good to be reminded to have that eternal perspective. And I see coaching as a calling, not just a job, but this is my ministry as well.
Sure. Well, before we talk about this year's team, tell us about Mike Boatfield, who is the senior chaplain. I don't want to point that out for the record, Cartersville Uncut. I'm the junior chaplain. I'm the smaller chaplain, but Mike Boatfield has been a huge influence to both Joey and me. We love him like a dad, and he's been a huge influence in our life. So talk about Mike and how he really, by coming in, Coach Ken Gross and others, just the fatherly presence they have in that locker room and around the team. Talk about that.
Yeah, we're definitely blessed to have a bunch of guys that outside of the team are willing, especially from a faith perspective as well, to pour into those guys. And we kind of step back and let those guys do a lot of that stuff. And funny story about Pastor Mike being here. When I got the job, I was riding through downtown Cartersville, and I got a phone call. I had Mike's number in my phone already because I knew him from East Tennessee, my Carson Newman days. And he called to congratulate me on the job, and I said, I appreciate that, thank you. And he said, well, guess what? I said, what's that? He said, I've been the team chaplain for Cartersville for the past couple of years. So that was kind of
the best chaplain.
That's the senior chaplain. That's right. That's kind of one of those God moments where you're just like, man, this is his plan. So I knew then and felt pretty good about the deal then.
That's great. All right, so tell us about this year's team. 2017, Cartersville Canes. Joey, everybody knows you've won back-to-back state championships. How do you stay focused and dialed in, and how do you keep these boys from being complacent, maybe apathetic or entitled? We're not saying we've sensed that at all, but I mean, my goodness, when you've won as frequently as you guys have won, how do you keep them focused and motivated?
Our coaching staff does a great job of reminding them this year's team hasn't won anything. The past 2 teams have won state championships. This team hasn't won anything yet. We won 3 ball games. So we do a good job of keeping that perspective, and our kids are naturally competitive anyhow. So week in and week out, they just want to win the next game. And that's how you win a state championship. You just focus on one at a time, and then the next thing you know, you're in game 15. So our kids, they come to practice to compete every day. They don't have a complacent mentality. I remember one of the first stories of being here was I was in the PE gym, and we were playing a wiffle ball game. And these guys are doing the little "We Will Rock You" beat on the wall, wanting to win a wiffle ball game, and that naturally competitive spirit, it helps out a ton.
Sure. Well, individuals don't win championships. We know teams win championships. But can you speak to some of the guys that are being heavily recruited, or guys that might have a chance to play at the next level?
Yeah, we're blessed in our senior class. We got 33 seniors right now. So, and you know, I tell them all the time, if you want to play college football, there's a place for you to play.
Sure.
But some of the big names that are getting some of the notoriety right now on the offensive side of the ball, obviously our quarterback Trevor Lawrence. He's committed to Clemson. Rico Fry is the senior running back that we have. He's done a great job for us. He's got several offers. E.J. Turner at wide receiver has some offers, and then we think T.J. Horton and Jacoby Orr are really close.
Sure.
Maybe Chattanooga in the next couple of days, a couple of weeks may offer those guys. Up front, we've got 4 of our 5 offensive linemen back, and of those, I think maybe 4 of them have scholarship offers to some smaller schools. None of them are big-time linemen just because of their size, but they sure play big time. On the defensive side of the ball, Darren Polnitz has an offer on our defensive line. And then Niven Nelson, an inside linebacker, has an offer, as well as Ja'Cory Johns, who has some big-time offers at outside backer.
So that's great. That's great. Talk us through the support that you get from the administration, from the school board, and from the community. Not just what you see athletically with the guys and with the coaches, but what do you see happening with the administration and the community support?
It's definitely a special place, without sounding cliche. Everybody's rowing in the same direction.
Sure.
And that's important. A lot of times you get in systems and there'll be jealousy, or somebody's pulling one way, somebody's pulling the other. Our system all has the big picture, and again, for lack of a better phrase, we're going to focus on the 3 A's here: academics, arts, and athletics. And we're going to put our best foot forward in each of those endeavors, and holistically, this whole system does a really good job of keeping that perspective.
I love it. All right, so personal, what are your hobbies? When Joey King's not in the weight room or watching film, when he's not blowing his whistle and yelling at these boys and motivating them, what do you like to do personally? What keeps you going?
Well, during the season, I don't really have a lot of time for hobbies, but I do. I enjoy the hunt. I enjoy fishing, just hanging out with my family. My wife's, I guess, love language is quality time. So doing some type of event with the family always carries a lot of weight. Sure.
How do you do that, Joey? Because as a pastor, my life is not an 8-to-5 job. But during football season, I don't know anybody that works harder during football season than coaches. You guys are literally on the clock and go nonstop. So how do you keep perspective? Because you and your assistants, most of your husbands and dads, and your young staff, you got a lot of young coaches. How do you create a healthy culture for your guys with their families?
Well, we do several things. One of the things is we make our personal families welcome at anything that we do. So a lot of times at practice, if you come out there and watch, there'll be little kids and wives sitting on the grass watching, and we want our players to see us be daddies and to see us be husbands, because that carries a lot of weight. Again, one of those eternal perspective things, right?
Absolutely.
And then, one of the things that's really helped coaches in general is the video system that we use, which is called Huddle.
Yeah.
Give a shout out to Huddle right there,
We saw it a little bit earlier.
There
just
you
during
go.
practice.
That's right.
We
So
watched
Huddle,
it,
used to, you had VHS tapes or real films or whatever, and you'd have to stay at the field house to watch film. Well, now, after practice, my coaches have duties and responsibilities that they have to do, and then I tell them to get out of here.
Yeah.
I don't want any wasted time. We're not going to be a staff that just sits around and wastes time. So if they can go home and be with their families, go home and do that, which is what I normally do. I'll go home and I may get to eat with my family, I may not, but I at least get to see them before they go to sleep. So I may read them a Bible story, lay in the bed with a couple of them, and get them to bed. And then after that, I turn that video on and I watch it till.
So as crazy as this sounds, Joey, technology has actually created a better family life for football coaches with tools like Huddle.
That's exactly right. If you allow it to. Some coaches don't necessarily do that, and I mean it's the same at the collegiate level or whatever. But I try to run my guys out of here as quick as I can so they can go be daddies. All
right, a couple more questions. What do you like about Cartersville, Joey? What makes Bartow County in Northwest Georgia such a cool place to live and plant your life and raise your family?
Well, the geographical setting of this place is phenomenal. We're close to Atlanta and Chattanooga, right on I-75. We're experiencing some of the positive sprawl from Atlanta. Lake Point's bringing a lot to our area, and it's just an exciting time to be here. Cartersville in general is still has the feel of small town USA, which you love growing up, and I love growing up, and I think it's just a special community.
It is. All right, Joey, so championship rings are really, really, really cool, but define the ultimate win for Coach Joey King. What is winning and success for you long term? And I'm not just talking about football championships. What is going to make you a great man. Because we're young men,
Right.
but as we grow, Lord willing, to be old men in our friendship,
Right.
what will make us great men, hopefully one day?
Just the fact, I was always taught, when your time is gone, what are people going to say about you? What type of legacy are you going to leave? And I want them to first know me as a godly man,
Sure.
and then know that I was a good husband and a good father,
Sure.
and then that I made a difference in their lives. We, as coaches, it's always neat to get text messages from former players.
Sure.
And a lot of them get it. Some of them get it while you're coaching them, and then some of them get it years down the road, whether they go the right path or go the wrong path. But to get a message that just says, "Hey, Coach, Happy Father's Day,"
Love it.
I really appreciate what you've done for me. And that's kind of the reason that I do what I do.
I love it. All right, so why should someone who's maybe never been to Wyman Stadium and seen a game live on Friday night, why should they get a ticket and come watch this team this year?
Our kids play extremely hard. The band does a great job. The cheerleaders do a great job. Our video broadcasting team does a phenomenal job. But the Friday night production that is put on at Wyman Stadium is one of a kind. And I haven't heard from anybody that's been. From the ESPN people that were here just a
Sure.
couple of weeks ago, to the GPB people, to anybody that comes from a visiting team or town. They say the Friday night atmosphere at Wyman is definitely one of a kind, and I believe it.
Truly is. All right, well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, with Cartersville Uncut. Coach Joey King, who's a great coach and a great father figure to these young men on his team. More than anything, he's a great man. He's a good husband, and he's an intentional father, and he's been a good friend to me. We moved to Cartersville at very similar times. Joey and I have a very similar story in that we're not from here, but the Lord planted us here at a very similar time. We've grown our friendship, and we're thrilled to be in this community. Joey, thanks for your time. I love you, man.
You.
God bless you. God bless you, Cartersville. Thank you.
Thanks.